Hey guys, have you ever wondered why your child care center isn't seeing the enrollment numbers that you hope that they have? Maybe you need to take a look online. It might be time for you to look a hard look at what your brand's reputation is. So join us today as we chat with Mark, the CEO of Cool Click Digital Marketing. We're going to uncover why reputation management isn't just a buzzword, but it's the secret to your success and your secret weapon. He'll dish out some juicy tips on how to fend off negative reviews and all the things that you need to know to amplify the good stuff and turn your brand into a magnet for new families. So get ready to armor up and watch your enrollment grow and skyrocket in numbers. So welcome to the show, Mark.
Wow, thank you for having me. So appreciative of you, Erica. And just that intro alone was such thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I got to meet Mark and his beautiful wife at the Born to Teach conference. I can't even tell you how many the people are probably sick of me saying where I met them because I met so many great people at that conference. The synergy was just there. The people who went were amazing. The people who were vendors were amazing. And of course the conference was amazing. So
Yeah.
um it was really great to connect with you, and I love your story. So before we kind of hop in, I'm just jumping right in. I probably should tell people who they're listening to. I'm so excited to talk to you. I skipped a whole lot of parts. So first of all, you are tuned in to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I am your host, Erica Sacosio, a multi-location child care owner, child care advocate, and leadership lover. And today, as I said, our guest I met at the Born to Teach conference. Mark, tell folks a little bit about yourself, how you came into this role of being a marketing extraordinaire.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing technology for over 18 years now. Started out working for a software company, moved into actually working for the client. So, kind of seeing both ends of how to create the software and also solving the problems from the client side, right? So, it's just trying to see both ends. But I've also recently even really understood the problems that happen within the childcare center. So the reason I was able to identify those problems were a lot was because of the fact that my wife and I we own and operate childcare centers, and because we own and operate childcare centers, and as a childcare owner, you're always trying to find out solutions, trying to figure out how to solve problems. I think we're like some of the biggest problem solvers are childcare owners, right? Um, so what we ended up doing, especially around trying to grow our enrollment, letting the community know about us, we had to we were trying to figure out how do you get people to know about you, and we were trying everything. We put our flyers on Papa John pizzas. We did everything door to door, conferences, all kinds of things to just try to promote our school, and we realized that we needed a larger reach, and that larger reach was really making sure our website was up and running, making sure that our Facebook, our social media was up. But we couldn't really find anyone at the time to really manage any of that for us, so I just kind of took on the reins and said, okay, I can do it, right? Because I have the technology background, because I've been doing this for so many years, I developed websites for our churches. I already was in that space. I also said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take the lead on that for the school. And when I started taking the lead on that, I also realized other people were having the same challenges. Other childcare owners were having the same challenges, and therefore, I was like, okay, well, I can reproduce the solution that I created for our schools for other childcare owners. So that's how pretty much that's how Cool Click was birthed. Cool Click was birthed because as I was solving the problem for ourselves, we looked around and identified other individuals who were struggling through the same problems. So as they were struggling through the same problems, lo and behold, who came in with the cape? Mark to save the day, right?
I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
So I love that you're entrenched in the community. I think that that is something that certainly makes you special and unique and different. It's not like a brand who just decided that, oh, this is the industry I'm going to help. Like,
Yeah.
this is your industry. You understand it. And I think that a lot of folks, we are so used to doing everything ourselves that we might be posting on social media, but we might not be doing it good, or you might not
Yeah,
be doing it consistency. So
sure.
yeah, he's like, Mark's like, Erica, shut up. That's my thing. But no, really, I know it because
No,
I live it. I
continue.
live it, right?
Mhm.
So even with the podcast itself, that consistency and just being out there and making those connections to spread and grow, whether it's your childcare business, because many childcare business owners have side businesses as well.
Mhm.
Then we're not
Absolutely.
unique to that, right? So just there's so many things to juggle. So tell us, what's the most common mistakes that you see childcare centers make when it comes to managing their brand?
Yeah, number one, I think a lot of times is that we're not realizing that. I think number one, what I hear from a lot of childcare owners is that I don't do Facebook, I don't do internet, I don't do whatever, right? And
Mm-hmm.
maybe for various reasons, but I always tell them you have to be where your clients are, right? So if wherever the eyeballs are looking for you, right? So if they're looking for you in some magazine, then okay, fine, you can advertise there. But for the most part, majority of the eyeballs are looking online for you.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is when you're absent online, a narrative starts getting created. It could start getting created about your school, right? People might say all kinds of things about your school, and it's not with your active participation. So that's why you want to make sure you develop a brand. Your school is known in the community. You're engaging with community officials. You have the police department coming by. You have the fire department coming by. People know you in your community, but also highlighting those things as well, because it's very important that when people are looking for schools in your area, your school comes up,
Mm-hmm.
right, as an option. You don't want it to be where everyone's looking for the franchises and looking for all the other brands, and they bypass you just because you might have a great program, a great curriculum, great staff,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not letting the community know. So you're getting bypassed for a lot of benefits out of the community, and therefore you may be struggling in the enrollment area.
Yeah. I would say that, so when I first started, I did my own website. Zero skills in websites. It was
That's
like I think I made it on net solutions or something like that. And then I had a designer do it, and I saw definitely an increase.
yeah,
And then I went to another company that was really top notch. And my enrollment has never stopped. Literally, if you have a good website, my point is, if you have a good website, I get honestly probably 12 leads a day easily.
yeah.
Easily.
Uh,
Um and that's compounded over day after day after day. So I can testify for sure that having a great website that's clean, that has good SEO, really it makes a difference by thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So if
and
you don't have that, for sure, you're already behind the ball.
well, also a website can solve so many of even your day-to-day
Mm,
operations. So
mhm,
it's not just alone having the website, but the website, when you go to it, has to answer the questions of your
mhm,
potential and or existing parents, right? So you may get phone calls all day, says, what time do you, oh, what time do you start? What time do you end? That can probably eliminate 20 phone calls per day by just
mhm,
having that information on your website. It sounds very simple, but having that information that people call often about, right,
mhm,
already gets them to answer the questions even before taking the time of taking the time of your staff to answer that. Same thing when it goes to taking photos of your centers, right? Taking photos of your rooms. You won't have so many people ask you for tours and then turn around and pretty and don't enroll, right? Because you want to conserve a lot of your staff time. You don't want them spending time on parents that may not necessarily sign up and just kind of trying to check out the place. But what you want to do is someone's already checked you out on your website. They just want to validate what they've saw. Right.
mhm,
They want to make sure the things that I saw online, I want to come into the center and make sure what I saw online matches what I see in person. Right.
mhm,
So it's not just about having a website, it's also about saving the time of your staff,
mhm.
saving and freeing up your phone calls for people who actually have questions that can get them enrolled, or their child enrolled into your school.
Yeah. The other thing I think is super important that you could do is have a virtual tour on your website. For sure, that also was very helpful. And I think a lot of people did do that during COVID, but make sure that you have a virtual tour that you can share either on your website or that you
I
send
love it.
people when they inquire about, your school. I usually will do that. Or if you have people, we have found people moving from one state to another. I've had people that were moving into Rhode Island but were still out of state, and I was able to send them here's a virtual tour, and we were able to do a lot there. And not just, I love too that you said, when we think about reputation, we immediately think about parents in our community. There's another part I want you to think about, your staff, because we talk about the staff shortage and everybody's vying for the same teachers. You want to make sure that that website or your branding in general and your reputation in general is one of a good center where people also want to work, not only where they want to enroll their kids, but happy teachers make happy parents and happy owners and
Absolutely.
all of that. So it's connected. So making sure that you have, um, a website and brand management for your employment as well. Like, look at your Glassdoor rating. What does it say there, right? So there's a lot of places that you really have to think about. You're laughing at me,
You
Mark, because
you 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 have all the great nuggets over there, Eric. I don't know what else I'm going to say to
No,
them.
you got plenty. You have plenty. That's just the old age and wisdom. But
Yeah, absolutely.
we all learn trial and fire. Like, I can tell you right now, if I go on my Google my Google page, my photos are not updated. I need to do
Mm.
that. Like, I'm very honest and transparent. Sometimes I don't have time. That's why we need people like Mark, because I
I'll
don't
talk
always
to
have
you. I'll
time.
talk to you after this.
Don't always have time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So can you share a success story where effective reputation management significantly boosted a childcare center's enrollment numbers?
Absolutely. Oh my, yes.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I sat there and think about in terms of when you're talking about enrolling, right? Because I think sometimes people are like, oh, once I build my website, I'm gonna get 1,000 kids right here, right now, right? No, it's a reputation. You're building something positive about your center. And what I've realized is that when I started working with some of our clients, is that sometimes they've ignored their Google reviews and not realizing ignoring your reviews shows so much to your parents and to your staff, like you mentioned, to your community out there. It just shows that you're not an active owner or you don't care, right? And really, it's not that you're not. It's really not that you don't care. It's just that you never had time to log in, right? You don't even know that the negative reviews
Mm,
are out there. So the first thing I did was any reviews that are kind of within the last 12 months, I make sure that we respond to those reviews. All right. So if it's really old, it's something that we can't really even I don't even want to bring that back to the top again.
hmm
So if especially if it's positive or negative, we respond to everything within the last 12 months, right? That already shows, for example, you might go to a business and you might read their reviews, and then everyone's saying all these things and you don't see the owner's responses, right? Or you see the owner's responses are very negative and you're like, oh, what's going on here? It might be true what the community is saying about them, right? So but in this particular use case, what we ended up doing was combating the reviews immediately. We started replying to the existing reviews that are there. We started engaging. We had a review campaign where we started engaging our existing parents and saying, hey, don't you like us? If you do,
Write a
go
review.
ahead and put some reviews out there for us, right? And we had some other strategies that we put in place to increase our reviews from our existing parents, right? And also, like you mentioned, our existing staff as well. From that perspective of what they appreciated working at that facility, also the parents is what they appreciate about bringing their child there. So that already kind of just started changing the narrative in the community about that center. And as we started working more with that center, all of a sudden we started getting the website up. We started allowing parents to email us from the website. You'll start That directly impacted our enrollment because we kind of had like a trifecta where we started handling the Google reviews, right? We're also handling their social media, if that makes any sense, and then we're also dealing with their website, right? So we're tackling it from all three corners, a triangle pretty much, their Google reviews, making sure their social media pages is up to date. One thing I was joking about, especially when I was at the conference, was telling people, you don't want them to go to your social media page and it's last year's Christmas tree, right? We're almost already in December now. So you want to highlight, kind of create this information about your center, and that gives a parent, it's a no-brainer choice to go ahead and pick your center as the choice to enroll their child. And I would say, while I was watching the center, all we saw was just people calling, people enrolling, just directly transforming their business by not even doing anything differently in terms of the operations of their business, but just really highlighting what they currently do. And that the reviews do not match, some of the reviews did not match what was actually going on with the center, right?
Mhm.
So now when we started flipping the narrative, then when people started looking up their center, the negative review wasn't the highlight of my center. It was the other things that was going on, the fact that I responded, the fact that there
Mhm.
were new reviews that were positive, so people were looking at that as well.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about negative reviews and how should people, right? Because we take it real
Mhm.
personal, and especially when it's a
Absolutely.
lie and you let the person go because they didn't pay their bill, right? How should
Yeah.
people respond? Give some
So,
advice.
oh, I wish I had it. Maybe I recently posted on my actual Facebook page in terms of what the do's and don'ts of your Google reviews. So check it out on Cool Clicks on Facebook page, right? But I recently talked about that, which I think is so funny. Is one of the things in terms of the actual reviews is, and I was reviewing someone's reviews. I think it was just yesterday. I was reviewing their reviews, and it wasn't a client of mine. It was some other reviews that I was reading, and every person that said something negative, the owner rebutted with something personal. It
Mm,
was, hey, it's because of this and that, things that the online community don't even understand the backstory, right? So all they're seeing is that, oh man, this owner is being malicious and putting my personal information out there, right? Oh, it's like, a person might say, I didn't appreciate working here, and then she responds, you were late every single day, that's why I fired you. And you're like, whoa. I don't want to work somewhere that the owner responds that way to their staff, right?
yeah.
So being very cognizant of how you respond to those reviews respectfully, it may be something that you want to communicate and say, hey, we tried our best to make sure this relationship works. We'd love to see you again. Give us a call, send us an email. We don't have to speak on this platform. We can actually speak in person. That shows to me that you're more inviting and you don't really want to air out any type of dirty laundry or go tit for tat on a Google review. And I'm telling you, I would completely say do not do that, because that lives on
Mm,
forever.
mm,
You cannot delete a Google review. You cannot delete a reply. These things just go on to live in the internet forever. Even if you've passed your attitude stage and you're the nicest owner right now, that still lives on online. So try your best to just kind of don't engage and go personal and tit for tat, right? The other thing about it, one thing that I mentioned was the fact that you're just ignoring the negative ones, right? Here's all the positive ones, and you respond to those, but the negative ones, you're like, I'm not even going to reply to it. No, you reply to those the same exact way. Hey, I'm so sorry that you feel this way. Please give me a call. We're looking forward to discussing this more. You don't have to really give too much feedback or too much information online. You just want the community to know that you have an open door policy, that anything that happens, they can come directly to you, and you're not going to have any you know, type of issue with communicating with them about what they've written.
okay. So let's go to the opposite side of it. So how can
Mhm.
childcare centers build and maintain a positive reputation without coming off not authentic or overly promotional?
Oh man, now you're in my space, right? Literally. So that's the one thing that we do here at Cool Click. A lot of it is it's not this kind of I don't know what you would call it, like template type of posting, right? It really is what is going on in your center. It is the children at your center, the staff at your center,
Mhm.
also parent testimonials. So one thing that I did when I went out to a client site was actually film all the parents. And sometimes their
Mhm.
parents are running in and out. I get it. But
Mhm.
we were able to stop a good handful, a good bit of parents and tell them, hey, are you having a great time? Is your child having a great time here? And they were saying absolutely. And they took about 30 seconds, they recorded it,
Mhm.
and just posting a parent saying how great um your facility is, your center is, that's life changing in my opinion, right?
Mm.
Especially in terms of video testimonials, right? So someone actually seeing a real person saying, and it might be a parent that you've seen in the hallway, it might be it might be someone that you see in the community, your local grocery store. These are real people that lives in your community, and they said, "Hey, I had a great time being at my child had a great time being at your facility. They're learning." Right? They were able to see progress. I've had testimonials where parents said, their child went in not being able to recognize their letters and not being able to read, and then they left the center being able to recognize their letters and reading. I'm like, wow, there's I didn't, you didn't. That's more than anything that you could have paid to boost that post online. This is something that I think is probably one of the most valuable things you can do at your center is get that parent testimonial.
Yeah,
And I
I
oh, mhm,
I totally agree with that. I feel like too when it's a video they can see the person because there's another thing that happens. Especially if you live in an area. So I'm going to speak from my experience. I live
mhm,
in an area that isn't necessarily super diverse, but my center is super diverse. And a lot of folks who come in enroll their kids there because we're super diverse. So when you're sharing, video of the folks that go to your school, make sure that you really capture the spirit of your school. And so when you're able to, as the client, be able to see other people that look like you, because again, it's community, right? People that you can relate to or people that you might know, right? So I feel like that is always nice. And it's a face. It's not like anybody could write a review and make 18 account. So yeah, best center ever, right? Anybody can do that, right?
yes,
But a video of real people has so much more weighted, so much more weighted when they're in the center with the kid. That's not made up. They didn't hire a
yeah.
hundred actors, So I think it's much more impactful.
I like what you said there in terms of like even trying to manipulate the reviews online, and most people can catch that really quickly,
Yeah.
right? They're like, nah, this is not a real one. I don't think this is even a real
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want your parents having those type of doubts. You don't want your community having those type of doubts that you're an authentic owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want it may be a situation that arises and a staff member might reply on your behalf. That those things you can't control. That's
Mm-hmm.
an authentic experience of a staff member that says, hey, what this person is saying is not true. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where you're trying to get, a whole lot of people to say things that are untrue. This is the best center. You see 10 of the, it's the best center ever. And people are like, oh, is that really authentic? Right? Versus where a parent actually says, here's my personal experience.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did at our centers was we added uniforms very recently for the school
Mm.
year, and you can see that parents were just so happy that they were connecting that uniform change to a Google review. So now when someone reads it, they're like, this can't be made up. This is a real review
Mm-hmm.
that said, hey, I was so appreciative of you guys going to uniforms. Now I don't have to worry about what they're going to wear every day,
Mm-hmm.
all different things. And they were it was such a heartwarming review that you knew that this wasn't something that was manufactured.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so what are some actionable steps? We don't have a lot of time. I can't believe how fast it always goes. What are some actionable steps that a child care center director or owner can take right now to start improving their brand reputation? Right now.
Number one, do an audit. That's what I do. right? So the first thing I do for any center that I connect with and that signs on board, I do an audit. I see what's going on my Facebook reviews. I see what's going on on my website. Are there typos? Is there old pictures? I see what's going on with my Facebook. So I really just do a lay of the land to try to figure out what is going on online. What is going on digitally? What is my brand and online? And that's my, if you can see my shirt today, I said protect your brand, right? Which means that you have to go and do some Google searching. You can have a friend do it for you and say, what do you see when you look up my center, right? And they might say, you don't even come up. I don't see anything. I'm searching for you. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
find you. Well, number one, if you don't have a Facebook page, create one today. Facebook is free for your center, right? Instagram is free for your center. You want to create it, but not just have a page out there, but have some type of strategy to start
Mm-hmm.
posting consistently on those pages, right? You also, if you don't have a website, we mentioned that earlier. That is one thing that is an actionable step. You need to get
Mm-hmm.
one as quick as you can. You might be someone that says, I'm like you mentioned, Erica, how computer savvy you are. You created your own. Um, you might be someone that can create your own. I say go ahead and do it. Put something out there that might be a static page. Work with a professional, and don't be afraid to work with professionals. I think sometimes people are worried about the cost with working with a professional. I would say majority of the time you're going to get your ROI. You're going to get your
Mm-hmm.
return on investment by working with a professional. Many times when you work with someone who's not professional, or you even try to do it yourself, you end up spending more money
Mm-hmm.
because you end up spending more time, you end up spending your money, and you're like, listen, by the time you're done with this, I've met so many people. By the time they've come to me, they've already worked with someone, they've already paid them double than I charged them,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even have the website, don't even have their social media pages. So that's one of those things where I would say don't be afraid to spend, because that's going to come back tenfold in terms of online. So that's one thing I would say that you could do today.
So what I'm going to say before we wrap up, you said so many great things there. One, if you're worried about the cost, just take what one kid that you don't have now, times that by the year, and there's your budget. Okay, one kid.
Mhm.
If they can get you one kid, they cover their cost, right? So there's
Mhm.
there's that. He's like, yes. So there's that. There was just so many things that you said there. So what I'm gonna say is just do something. If you're not sure where to start, he gave you a great list to start. Do your audits, see what's out there, and just do the darn thing. Stop being afraid, and respond to those reviews, positive or negative, like Mark said. Now, if folks want help from a professional like you, Mark, give them all the info before we wrap up.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So number one, I'm pretty sure Erica's gonna tag me on Instagram. You can send me an Instagram
Mm-hmm.
message. That's cool click DM. Also, my website is cool-click.com, but it's not like click, but it's CLIQUE, right?
Like
So
click.
cool. Yeah, you're gonna be part of the Cool Click when you have a website. You're gonna be part of the Cool Click when you have a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Please just follow me online. I have tons of nuggets that I give out on my social media pages, and just message me, right? If you're someone who's like, oh, I'm afraid of the cost, message me. We'll at least work something out in terms of maybe answering some of your questions. You may not be ready to sign up today, but maybe I can help you and guide you a little bit, right? But for those who are ready for actually having someone manage your social media, if you're ready to have an actual web presence, definitely reach out cool-click.com, and I will be glad to help you, right? And protect your brand online.
Thank you so, so, so much. To my listeners out there, I hope that you found this episode helpful. If you did, or even if you didn't, let us know in the reviews. Let us know. Click the button, write all the reviews. We any feedback from you. We also have a text to show. I'd love to know if this was helpful and what other topics you would like us to cover on the show. Again, remember, it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. That's all for today. Have a good day. Bye.